Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rainmakers Roundup. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, and with me today is Mayor Dave Freed. Dave is the mayor of Robbinsville, New Jersey. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Oh,
Appreciate
man,
it.
it's a lot of fun. Great to have you here. Known each other a long time. You've accomplished a lot since 2005. You've got the state of Robbinsville coming up at Stone Terrace on April 30th. And you have a program, Dave, called Pay It Forward. Why don't you talk about that a little bit, please?
Sure. So this started a few years ago. We had a young man who wanted to meet the mayor, and we came to see him. And as we got to know him, we found out that he needed a handicap van. At the time, he was in a contest, and he thought if we could get the mayor involved, that we could get enough votes and he would win the handicap van. So we immediately went into action, and he came in second.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe that we lost, and I thought, okay, this can't happen. You know, so we changed the state of the township that year, and everyone has been to one of these events where they hand someone a check. I wanted it to be a little bit different. So we did our state of the township. We raised the money, and that night we actually handed the family the keys to a handicap van, and that was our first Pay It Forward event. And we've renovated a bedroom and a bathroom for a teacher who was going to probably pass from ALS.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Last year we did the CARE program, which has been something near and dear to our heart. So we've been able to find things that are important to us in Robbinsville to try and be able to help and really change someone's life.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it every year now.
Yeah.
This year will be the Mercer Street Friends. We had been.
Yeah, talk about that. That's been interesting.
So we found out from the Mercer Street Friends that a number of kids were going to lose their weekend meals. Okay. And I had been thinking about, the first state of the township was going back to kids, and we wanted to return to our roots. And when we found out that they were going to lose their meals, we decided we would actually make the state of the township about that, and we're going to try and raise some money for the event to make sure that these kids don't lose their meals.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
And it really is hard. And when I saw the size of the meals for the weekend, I thought, interestingly, it's a lot of food for one kid for the weekend. Yeah. And I found out that it's really the family shares, and it's the only meals that they have for that weekend. Wow. So there's no way that we were going to let that happen. So we're going to do everything we can to restore the program.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Since 2005, you've raised this Pay It Forward program has raised a lot of money.
We've raised a few $100,000 at the state of the township. One night a year, and we were. Been very, very successful.
That's remarkable.
We're hoping to raise about $50,000.
You see, in a community that's as close knit as Robbinsville, you can do things like that help people who are less fortunate than you are.
We do. We're blessed, and we really we try and remind ourselves every year that we've been so fortunate that we want to be able to give back and find something really unusual and unique, and an opportunity for us to be able to step forward and help.
Yeah. This program's called Rainmakers Roundup. It's all about making rain, man. And I'll tell you something, you guys and your staff, your administration for the last 14 years have made a lot of things happen. You've done a whole lot. And as you know, I'm former deputy mayor in Hopewell Township, elected official. It's tough to strike a balance between, all that wonderful development, and you look at a town center right in Robbinsville, and you look at all the other development that has occurred over the last decade plus. It's been remarkable. You guys have done a really great job.
Thanks,
yeah. But striking that balance between development and then open space, you've restored or have secured 1,100 acres of open space over the last 14 years. That's incredible.
Thanks. Yes. We need balance. We were originally a farming community, and we didn't want to lose, that sort of farming roots. Right. And unfortunately, our town was becoming so attractive, and it's a good news, bad news scenario. We were so attracted to developers, all of our farms were disappearing, and I knew that if we didn't do something aggressive, all of it would be gone. And we were also growing too quickly. To be able to slow down your growth is almost impossible when you've got rising, economic values in your town. Our housing stock is growing, and when I look at, our town, I kind of run our town like I would a business. Right. I look at our residents like shareholders, and home values are, sort of what I think of as a stock price. For most people, their home is the most valuable thing that they'll ever invest in, and I want to make sure that their homes are continuing to increase in value, and we've got second highest home values increase, only to Princeton. We're trying quickly to
overtake them,
to catch them. When I started as mayor, we had the fastest growing taxes, and believe it or not, we had declining property values.
Yeah.
Today we've got some of the most stable property taxes, and we've got increasing property values.
Yeah.
So it's really what we wanted, and being able to preserve open space was a big plank in our sort of tools, if you will, of how we were going to make that happen.
Yeah, that's been remarkable, I'll tell you. Can you talk a little bit about some of the open space projects that you've dealt with over the last 14 years?
Sure. Just in the last couple of years, we've had two big projects that we've done. One was the Maury Run, which is a former golf course that got shut down and was falling into decline. And what we didn't want to have happen is have that turn into a residential neighborhood. So we literally just over the last couple of weeks preserved that property. And then another property just across the street from the high school was actually in the hands of a developer that we were trying to preserve. And it was a pretty tough fight. I mean,
that was a good story.
Yeah, they were tearing down trees. It was, we did everything that we could because we didn't want the actual woods to be destroyed.
Right.
And they knew that we were preserving the property. They were trying to decimate it as quickly as they could, so that they thought that perhaps we wouldn't, move forward and take the property. So it was a little bit of a fight with them. It was a very large developer. They've been at this a long time.
Yeah.
So. A little bit of a battle of wills on that one, but we were successful. We were able to preserve both pieces of property and preserve a significant amount of acreage.
Yeah. So when you strike that balance with people that love open space and agricultural and and development, keeping property taxes in line, that's a tough balance to strike, and that means you have to have all those constituents around the table and make sure you hear from everyone, right?
Sure. And on the open space tax, it's difficult because I actually had to go out to the voters and ask them to increase taxes on themselves so that we could preserve open space.
Right.
So, really going out and explaining to the residents that, we need to have this space. It's good for the environment, but it's also good economics. Most people think more houses bring property taxes down, but it's actually inverted. The more houses that you have, they'll actually end up spending more in school taxes than the house will generate.
Absolutely.
Most houses in our town have 2 kids per house. It's about $12,000 per kid. So just in school taxes alone, a house will generate about $24,000 in cost.
Yeah.
Add in police and fire, you're almost up to $27,000. The average house in our town is paying about $13,000.
Wow.
So you can see that the rateable base that you need to support all those homes is what's keeping those taxes low. So the more houses, the higher taxes go, but people think more is better.
Yeah,
It's
not
actually
always,
inverted,
right?
Not always.
So you got a wonderful town center, right? Great shops, great restaurants. You've got housing there. There's a lot there. There's a lot to be proud of there. And then open space. I want you to talk a little bit about town center and a little bit about what your plans are for some of the open space.
Sure. So in our open space, we've been building parks and we've been continuing to invest in recreation. And then town center, about half of town center is complete right now. If you think of Route 33 sort of dividing the town center in half, what we call the north side of town center is actually pretty much fully developed.
Okay.
We're now going to begin developing the south side of town center, which is the other side of 33.
Okay.
And we're excited. We're working with the University of Pennsylvania, so they want to take on quite a bit of town center and bring in a medical piece to it, and we'll also have some residential. We're going to change the way that we're doing some assisted living.
Yep.
Putting assisted living on top of retail, which has never been done before. And we think about how we age. We want to be able to continue to be part of society. Nobody wants. A lot of assisted living have been moved off, into the middle of nowhere, and it's difficult for seniors to sort of engage and be part of society, if you will. Here, they'll be in town center. They'll be able to shop, go to a good restaurant. And their kids come to see them. The gym will be downstairs. You can take the elevator down, and you're still part of everything.
That's great.
So I think that's going to be new and unique.
That's good planning. It's really good planning. But you have to have a vision, as you say. You run it as a business, so you have to have a vision for what's going to happen down the road. A lot of us want to age in place. We don't want to go, to some faraway, senior housing unit, where no one comes and visits us.
Exactly. And you're right. And that's when you think about that, right? You want your family, you want the kids to to come visit you because it's a fun place to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And you want to be able to have a good meal and do all the things that you've worked so hard to be able to do.
It's the next part of your life. It's not the end of your life.
Absolutely.
All right. So here, big question here is New Jersey's known for the highest we have the highest taxes in the country. Horrible. I mean, a lot of people are leaving. I mean, we've had. Rutgers has done out-migration studies. We've seen millionaires move out. We've seen people that make a modest amount move out of the state. Yet in Robbinsville, You've had 3 consecutive years, and it looks like it's going to be a 4th consecutive year of decreasing property taxes and no property taxes,
Yes.
no property tax increase.
Correct. We've had flat property taxes for 7 years now. We've had 3 years in a row of tax decreases, and we're certainly working on another. And we've done a lot of things differently. We're one of the few towns who have taken over a fire district. Lots of towns talk about it. We actually did it. Saved our residents $1 million a year. We took over the MUA. We actually negotiated lifetime health benefits out of all new hires, including police and fire, which is very difficult to do. And we did it at the bargaining table with, without a lot of drama. We reduced steps. Steps are budget killers.
They are. They kill you.
And we were able to get that out of also police and fire. So we've made a lot of structural changes. Lifetime health benefits, when you think about the future, it isn't necessarily going to impact my administrations, but mayors, a generation from now are really going to be thankful about the fact that all of our new hires do not have lifetime health benefits, and it's going to significantly change their budget and make it more affordable.
Dave, so 7 years of either flat or reduced taxes, and what's amazing to me is that we continue in this state. We've got 565 municipalities, and I don't think there's anyone who can claim what Robbinsville can claim with regard to reducing taxes. I mean, that's a heck of an accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah, I think by all accounts, we're the only town that has ever done it.
Yeah.
And we really think a little bit differently. We're always, and I listen to people in politics today, and it's truly shocking to me. In business, no one would ever think about showing up and saying that you're going to spend money the company doesn't have.
Right.
But in politics, that seems to be the new normal. And it's amazing to me. It takes absolutely no talent to spend money you don't have.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone can do it. Anyone can promise to spend money you don't have. Right? I mean, there's zero talent needed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But to balance a budget, that doesn't seem to be anything that leaders want to talk about anymore.
Just have a council meeting and ask everyone in the audience who's a fiscal conservative. They all raise their hands until it's tough to make those difficult decisions, right?
Correct. Making the tough decisions are what sets us apart, and being able to listen. We did a lot of the things that we did without a lot of drama, without a lot of fighting. We really sat down with everyone and said, okay, we have to fix these problems. The largest taxpayer in New Jersey just left.
Right, exactly.
So when you're starting to see, the wealthy have choices.
Yeah, they do.
If we continue to tax them out of New Jersey, they're going to leave.
They're going to leave, right.
And then they're going to have to raise taxes on the next group and the next group. And it's interesting when you hear taxes are being raised on other people, a lot more not different when it's being raised on you.
Absolutely.
It's difficult to be able to afford to live in New Jersey right now. And we got to be smart about what we're doing. We got to start consolidating. We have to change. For me, it's almost the bull with the red cape when I hear, well, this is how we've always done it. No, clearly it's not working. We have to change, right? We have to do things differently. Yeah.
We're going to have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what you've done to attract these enormous businesses into Robbinsville. That's another coup that I want to talk about. We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors.
There you go, Richard. Oh, is that too hard for you?
No. Is it too hard for you?
Woo, we're playing catch now. Oh, shit.
Why should you choose Rowan College at Gloucester County? Low cost, the #1 nursing program in all of New Jersey. More than 70 programs of study, including selective admissions. With record enrollment. A premier partnership with Rowan University. Transfer options with numerous universities. 4-year degree options on our campus. Rowan College at Gloucester County. Now you're thinking.
Medicare coverage can be a very confusing and complicated process. Help is just a phone call away, 856-226-4800. As a licensed insurance agent, I'll assist you in making an informed and confident decision on a Medicare plan that meets your needs, lifestyle, and budget. Call me today for a free, no-obligation Medicare benefits consultation, 856-226-4800.
When did you see the sign?
Welcome back to Rainmakers Roundup. I am your host, Mark Iorio, and I'm with Mayor Dave Freed from Robbinsville, New Jersey. We've been talking about a lot of good stuff here. Well, it's not just you. I know you're the leader, and you know, you got a great administration. You have great help around you. A lot of the people that have been in your administration have been with you for a long time.
They have. You know, I get all the credit for everything, but you know, honestly, the staff does all the work. And you know, I think if I've done anything in Robbinsville, it's hiring great people.
Yeah.
I mean, we really have an incredible amount of talent, and our residents really appreciate everything that they do, and our staff is amazing. I mean, they step to the challenge and. You know, really dazzle me every day. I mean, it's really an incredible group of people.
Well, you know what? They take the lead from a good leader, right? And a good leader has to show vision, right? And you're smiling, but you know, a great leader has to show vision, and they have to be passionate about that vision. And you know, whatever that guidance system is that you have, and I know what you're driven by, right? You know, they follow that because it means something. You run it like a business, but you care for people. You have you know, that side of you where you care for your community. It's like your family, and you believe in that. Striking this balance, we talked about this before, having Amazon and some of these other Fortune 500 companies come into Robbinsville has been a heck of a coup. How have you managed to do that?
You know, when we started out, you know, and when you think about anything in any business that you go into, you have to think about what you can be great at. Mm-hmm. And when we took over, we had massively increasing taxes, and we knew we had to bring ratables in to balance it off.
Sure.
But, you know, at this point, East Windsor and Hamilton had pretty much taken over all of the retail opportunities.
Yep.
So we had to think long and hard about what we could be great at, what our assets were, you know, what could we excel at. Mm-hmm. And we had a large portion of land that was very, very close to the Turnpike and 195. It did not have any residential around it. And we quickly realized we could be very good at warehousing. When we started talking to some of these folks, what we learned was that no town was getting people in on time and on budget. So I said, okay, now that's something we could be great at, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
we could give great customer service to these folks. We could get people on time and on budget. We could learn what we have to do to be good at that. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. And then, you know, we started winning more and more businesses. And then when Amazon came, every town in New Jersey wanted Amazon.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
But they had a very aggressive timeline. They wanted to build 1.3 million square feet, and they wanted to do it in a year. So when I sat down with Amazon, you know, we listened to what they had to say, and they said, you know, why Robbinsville? And I said, because I'm going to get you in on time and on budget, and don't take my word for it. And I gave them references for Mercedes-Benz, McMaster-Carr, Green Mountain Coffee. So when I could hand them other Fortune 500 companies that were in on time and on budget, they knew we were true to our word, and we got Amazon in on time and on budget, and you know, that has been a real win for us.
Oh, you're not kidding.
You know, it's really been helping us manage our budget.
Yeah, it doesn't stop there. It really doesn't. You know, you've managed to, you know, a lot of folks that work at Amazon, right, could not get transportation back from where they lived into Robbinsville. What did you do?
We immediately started working with Amazon to bring in transportation, also fix parking. We worked with the city of Trenton. We worked with the county to try and bring ride shares to Robbinsville.
Yeah.
And Amazon's been a great employer, so they've started drawing, you know, a number of people. Mm-hmm. We then had to manage traffic because, you know, their success was incredible.
Yep.
So they ended up needing more employees than we ever built the project for.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to handle that infrastructure, and Amazon was able to change their shift structure, which they had never done anywhere else.
Wow.
So it's been a real partnership with them and with the township, and they've been very willing to work with us. You know, they've grown faster than, you know, anyone could possibly have imagined at the time when we sort of brought them in, and it's been a win. I mean, it really has been good for our residents.
Yeah.
They're actually running college out of Amazon right now, so
wow.
you can go to work and you can actually go to school at the same time.
That's fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, you know, the one thing I want to go back on for a second is the 7 years of flat taxes and then decreased taxes, and you know, bringing in a balance of ratables and housing is important, and people don't realize, I don't know if people realize in New Jersey that municipal taxes only represent, Robbinsville, I guess it's 10 or 11% of the total tax bill,
Correct.
roughly. So you can only impact that portion of a total tax bill. The rest of it's school and county.
Correct.
And what you've been able to do and your administration has been able to do is keep the municipal part of that tax flat, which is incredible. And by doing that, by addressing these big ratables, it's been fantastic.
We've been very fortunate. And, you know, bringing in the ratables also helps the school because it pays for their portion of the tax. So
Yes.
we've been able to slow down the school increases as well by bringing in the ratables and increasing the value of the town.
Yep.
So it's really been a win-win. You know, we talk about merging, you know, towns, and I don't know that that's ever really going to be successful. But you know, at some point we have to start thinking about: do we really need county government?
Yeah,
Because that
yeah,
is a
that's
layer
true.
that
You're right.
You know, really is redundant in everything else.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, there's been one merger in the last decade or so, and that's Princeton Township and Princeton Borough. And I don't know how successful that's been, but you're right. I mean, there's 21 county governments, and it's just too much, Dave. It's not going to continue. It can't continue.
We lift our plows to go over the county roads
Isn't that
and set
true?
them back down. I mean,
That makes no sense.
it makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
So we really do need to think it through.
So back onto the balance issue. You know, you in Hopewell, very agricultural community, right? Robbinsville, very agricultural community. We're not called the Garden State for nothing. You started, Robbinsville started one of the first of its kind hydroponic projects in the country.
Yes.
Okay, can you talk? I need you to talk about that because
Sure.
this is fascinating.
So we wanted to be able to, and we started thinking about a community garden.
Yeah.
And our seniors wanted to be involved, but we wanted to do something really different. And we actually went to Maryland and we saw one of the hydroponic farms working for a restaurant there, and in the inner city where they were having, you know, serious food shortages. You know, where they don't really have fresh produce. So we saw it in action and we realized this could be really unique.
Yeah.
So we actually put the hydroponic farm next to the senior center where many of our seniors volunteer and actually help do the gardening. So it's also been attractive for our kids to come in to see it because it's cool. So the seniors are now working with really unique technology. The kids get to work with the seniors and see them in action. So this has been a good thing for them. It's been a good idea for us because, you know, we're always investing in recreation.
Yeah.
We wanted to start thinking about some passive recreation for the seniors and for some, you know, for other people to volunteer.
Right.
Being able to work with new technology. And we think about how fast our population is growing. You know, at some point, we're going to have food issues. So I think you're going to see more and more of these types of farms. I mean, it's a recycled shipping container. It fits in a parking spot.
Yeah.
You know, you can stack them next to one another. You can put them on top of each other. So it really is unique. And then the last piece is it's generating about 400 heads of lettuce a week.
Wow.
So we're using it for our Meals on Wheels program. We're using it for our seniors. We're actually donating it to Mercer Street Friends.
Okay.
So you know, again, lots of people are donating box goods, canned goods, but it's difficult for people to get fresh produce.
Yeah.
So we're now donating a significant amount of produce every week. And so this has been a real win for the community and trying to create a benefit. It's been a win for our seniors, win
that's
for our
great.
kids.
Yeah.
And also watching, you know, having an opportunity for our kids and our seniors to interact is really unique. Having, you know, so it's been a great experience.
I don't know that a lot of people understand what a hydroponic garden is, so why don't you explain that?
Sure. So this is a farm that actually is in a renovated shipping container.
Yeah.
And basically we started from seeds, and
Okay.
then all of the produce grows vertically.
Okay.
And we're growing on one side and we're harvesting on the other side. The produce grows in little pods, and the water will actually drip into these pods, and we are able to ship it with the roots intact. So when we extract, the pod goes with it. Because typically when you harvest lettuce, you know, we'll cut it and then it immediately starts to die.
Okay.
But when you're shipping it with the roots intact, it has a longer shelf life. And then we take the pods, we replant, and then they grow again. So we start from seedlings, we move it over, and then it grows vertically.
Oh, that's cool.
And in one shipping container, the amount of produce that we can grow is unbelievable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess the nutrients are much better for, and much healthier?
Yeah, healthier, no pesticides. You know, we're able to run the electricity at night because the plants don't mind. So,
Right.
you know, we can run it when it's less expensive to run. We don't have to use, you know, anything because we close it down. So
Yeah.
it's organic,
Oh,
it's
that's
healthy.
great.
It's
That is so great.
really
You've
cool.
also been a huge advocate of buying local, right? And I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Listen, we need our local stores to survive,
Yeah.
and you know, we want our community to survive, and we want people to understand that, you know, when people make an investment in our town,
Yeah.
you know, it's difficult, right? You know, they're putting their livelihoods on the line. So I'm always encouraging our residents to do whatever they can to shop local, buy local. include, making sure that we have a vibrant business community. It's one of the, going to be more and more challenging as convenience becomes more of a thing. Amazon is taking over because people don't want to leave, but I need people to leave, to also, support our local businesses.
Absolutely, yeah. Over the last 14 or so years, you've had to deal with a lot of wonderful things that have happened in the community, right? And a lot of tragedy. And I want you to talk about how you deal with that as a mayor, and how those things, the raw emotions of issues like that, Dave, come out, and what you're able to do, how you're able to bring that community together, because it is a very, very close-knit community. And you and your administration, the police force, the EMS, have done an outstanding job with those issues.
Thank you. There's a term in Robbinsville, we call it the bubble, and it's something that they talk about how it's insulated, and we take care of one another, and we're always, sort of thinking about one another, and you hear it locally, and you get to see it in action. We saw it last night, and we're trying to always think about how to, take a tough situation and turn it into a positive.
Yeah.
Our police department, you brought them up, came up with the CARE program. They realized that they were losing the battle on opioid addiction, and we couldn't arrest our way out of the problem, so they came up with a really unique solution to basically offer people, when they're arrested, the ability to go into treatment as opposed to going to jail.
Right.
And we knew that the benefits of that would be if we could get them, through the process. It's less expensive to send someone to rehab than it is to put them in prison.
Yep.
Plus, they're going to be able to become part of our society again. It's very difficult to get a good job once you've got a felony conviction. So being able to allow people to go through rehab and then be able to become part of a useful society, is keeping us from having to keep these folks, on government programs for the rest of their lives. They can now go back to work. We've had 70 people go through the CARE program.
Wow.
And for a small town like ours, that's almost incredible. It's now been adopted by every other town in Mercer County, and it was radically different. When they came to me with this at first, I thought, wait a minute, you're telling me we're not going to arrest people? We're going to, it was a very different thought process. But in listening to officers, that we're not winning.
Right.
We're losing too many people.
Yeah.
Too many of these people
Yeah.
are dying, and so. We've really seen a massive change.
And it impacts everyone. It's not, socioeconomically, I mean, the opioid crisis, people think, well, no, that's, hey, listen, plenty of us have had friends, families that we've grown up with that have been impacted by this.
It's a terrible disease.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And there's no one safe from it. And, the fact that we're trying to do things a little bit differently, I think really, really helps. And, our community really responded. Whenever you're an elected official and you try something that radically different, you're nervous.
Yeah.
But this has really worked out well, and we've saved a lot of lives. I mean,
Yeah.
we were seeing people repeatedly again and again, and with Narcan, sometimes we were saving people again and again. And
Absolutely, yeah.
Not getting them into programs was not a good thing, and now we're taking walk-ins.
Yeah.
So, it's worked out so well that we're now encouraging people, okay, we don't want to just arrest you, don't wait till then. Bring a family member in, we'll take a walk in, we'll take a parent who's bringing their kid in. It gives them an opportunity to have a very tough conversation with people who are very good at having these conversations.
Yeah.
And being able to work with recovery advocates and having someone who's been there.
Right.
And say, hey, look, tell me how your day is going.
Absolutely,
And that's
yeah.
how they start.
Yeah.
And when you see them, they go, well, my day's terrible.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, well, tell me why. And you literally see people engage, and that's been a good thing for us.
Yeah. You've done some other great things too in Robbinsville. You mentioned a teacher who had ALS, and you helped build a ramp in the one school, and cancer patients who you've had fundraisers for, and it's just been it's been a remarkable stretch here for you, and a lot of it again is a caring community. You use the acronym CARE, but it's a caring community.
It is. It's difficult. We've had some tragedies too. We lost our superintendent, which our entire town grieved.
Yeah.
And it brought everyone together. So, we use that. We always use that emotion to try and make something positive come out of it. And I've been blessed. I mean, I've got residents who are always willing to step forward and to help and to
Yep.
try. And I've never had a shortage. I put out the call, and I'm always amazed at how our residents respond.
Yeah.
And, I've been very blessed by that.
Well, you're a good man, and you know what? Usually when you look at elected officials, people look at elected officials and say, they're this or they're that. But I've known you a long time, and a lot of it comes from your heart. And you and the administration have just done a remarkable job over the last 14 years, and I wish you continued success with the leadership in Robbinsville. Who's inspired you over your lifetime, Dave?
You know, honestly, I get inspired by our staff. I mean, you know, I listen to our team, and you know, I really believe that, you know, being a good leader is being a good listener. You know, I think in politics today, the art of compromise is gone. You know, people are afraid to try new things because it's easier to attack someone for an idea than it is to actually try the new idea. And you know, I think that's why politics has gotten so nasty, you know, but you know, my thought process is if you haven't failed, you haven't tried hard enough, right? If something didn't work out for you, it's because your goal wasn't big enough. So, you know, you're going to have failures along the way, but it's okay. You know, it means you're trying, it means you're growing. It's a, you know, it shouldn't be something that you're afraid of. And I think now our leaders have become so afraid of trying something new for fear of being attacked that they do nothing. And doing nothing is the safe move. And you know, so my inspiration comes from the staff and from, you know, listening to people and really trying to work through compromise. I mean, I think it's so missing. You know, people think leaders have all the answers. You know, we don't. We really have to just listen and then say, okay, what can we do? How do we work together? And the more you can do that, the more that happens, the more success that you have.
Absolutely,
And the noise and the rancor in politics today, it really breaks my heart. You know, just seeing, you know, how divided we are. And it shouldn't be that way. You know, we should be working together and thinking about things that we can do together, and we'd be so much more successful.
I agree. Yeah, Tip O'Neill said that all politics are local, right? And you and I have had that experience. You a lot longer than I have, but you know, I think if people approached it that way, I think we'd be a lot better off, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Funny you bring up Tip O'Neill. I mention him all the time. You know, he was a great compromiser. You know, he held card games. You know, got everybody together, got them talking.
That's true.
That's how things happen. You know, that's how you have success. You know, you can't do it alone.
He and Ronald Reagan couldn't have been more polar opposites, but they got along and they got things done, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. That's what we need more of. More listening, more working together.
Last question, what's on the horizon for Robbinsville Township over the next couple years?
You know, we're really excited. You know, we're going to see the south side of town center, you know, sort of become reborn. I'm really excited about working on rebuilding our golf course and just sort of seeing what we could do a little bit differently there, perhaps putting in a community pool, making that park area a little bit more unique with walking paths and some other things. So we're excited about where we're going, and you know, the town is doing very, very well. So you know, you know, I feel like our future couldn't possibly be brighter.
Great.
And we're really excited about that.
Great. It's been awesome to have you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Give Robbinsville a visit and look up Mayor Dave Freed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap for Rainmakers Roundup. It's been a wonderful week, everyone. Have a safe journey, and we'll see you next week at 10:30 on Rainmakers Roundup.